Welcome everyone, Dr. Thor here. Get ready for Gnosis. Well, I do want to cover an interesting business that influenced the entire alternative manifesting sciences out there, which was very popular and was out there with a fantastic catalog in the late 1980s throughout the entire 90s, and had a very was a place you went to get this kind of alternative technology. You know, biofeedback machines, biocircuits, and so many other actual products that the company founded by Terry Patten called Tools for Exploration. And there are some of the original catalogs posted online. And we have a link to them. So if you want to go there and look at the actual catalogs, I always find that interesting myself. You will be able to see them there on my link below. They had all sorts of cool stuff from supplements, obviously the biocircuit, light and sound machines, some pyramid stuff. Different unusual books and tapes, brainwave technology. Really some cool stuff, and it's too bad a lot of this stuff isn't still made. Some of it is, like they had the color therapy eyewear, you know, these glasses that are different colors. Magical Mind, Magical Body by Chokra, which was a kit. The Alpha Stim, these are, again, mind machines that flash tones and so forth. The Bioelectric Shield, now for bioelectrical energies. You know, not a lot of stuff don't change, do it? It's the kind of things out there. Lots of training, audio tapes. The usual people involved in it, particularly the well-known people. One thing that Tools for Exploration, and of course I spoke with them, he even had stuff from Tony Robbins at the time, so there was a lot of teaching tapes, alternative positive thinking. You got to remember that he's basically a Indian New Ager type guy who run this Terry Patten. He wasn't really into lots of advanced stuff, and unfortunately it wasn't. He did get into brain technology, brain states, subliminal tapes, and all of this you can see in the catalog, and it's kind of fun to go through this stuff to see what's out there, and pretty much all of the noted people of the time. And I think that's one of the problems as well. He wasn't really open to very alternate GSR meters that were for sale, and he had a lot of unusual supplements at that time. Mega Brain, Q10, other things that weren't known as much back then. And of course supplements are always of interest. And of course he had a lot of the what are called mind machines, where they flash lights and put tones. He had all those types of machines. You can see all these in the catalog there if this is something that you find interesting. And it's it is kind of fun to see all these different devices. So we had a lot of these, but they were very much kept in one particular type of technology, and not expanding as I would have preferred someone like him to expand, so that you could have a wider, more outrageous. He had a whole room ionizer, drops for your water, block radiation from your monitor, magnetic disc and so forth you placed on your body, colloidal water. And this was all this stuff is kind of common now, but back then it wasn't. Certain little discs to clear your environment, software for your computer for synchronicity, super subliminal software. So, it's quite an extensive catalog of products that it's all listed here. And, of course, this is when everything was mail order. You had to actually, of course, you could call in your order if you had a credit card, and you could place your order, send in your order, etc. Of course, this was the heyday of mail order, and if you wanted to get anything different or special, well, you had to contact someone like that. And certainly, he had a fantastic array of these kind of mind brain tools and things that helped in general that were alternative, that at that time in particular were very difficult to find. But it's a problem with tools for exploration, and as I said, it was the place to go. And apparently, over his actual reign of that for the 10 years that he ran that, I'm not sure how many years he was doing that, but apparently stated that he actually brought the company up to 2.5 million in sales. Now I don't know if that was 1 year, multi years, how long that was, but it states that annual revenues rose to over 2.5 million dollars during his 10 years of leadership. So I don't know how long it took to get to that level and so forth, but I'm sure it wasn't sustainable there. He sold the company sensing the fact that there was an awful lot of competition that was starting to happen towards 1998 when he sold it and into the 2000s, where a lot of people were selling this stuff. There were a lot of different publications. This was pre-internet, of course, but there still was a lot of contact. People got a lot of magazines. There was the Tesla Society that kicked in. There were so many other people that were offering these kind of things, and I'm assuming that there was a major dip in sales, or he actually saw that. So he sold the company in 1998. And I don't know if they did it exactly then. I think, I don't know if he did it, or I think it was towards the end of his 10-year period there that they changed tools for wellness, because exploration was not something that you could really continue to carry on. The big market is healing. So to sustain the business, they had to change the name there. And I don't know if the new owners did that or he did that. I'm under the impression that he did that as one of the survival tasks, and saw the coming or the writing on the wall, and actually sold his company, seeing that there was just a huge competition, and getting mind and sound machines, mind machines in general, as they're called, was something that was no longer that unique. I'm not sure when that happened in terms of tools for wellness, but they then moved to Southern California, not too far from where I was living, to Chatsworth, California, which is in the San Fernando Valley, under that name. I never went to their offices. I had a little bit of contact with them. This was in the 90s, during the early 200s, still was part of this kind of boom of alternative science. They were carrying the SE5, which kind of, and no other ones. It shows you the kind of simpleton minds they have. The problem with the original catalog, and when it became Tools for Wellness, is there was nothing new there. There was no groundbreaking. They didn't try and sell items that were a little bit different. They didn't work with newer people. I forget what I contacted them on a couple of issues. They were selling Eagly wheels. And I think they were one of their distributors, and I was trying to get them at a particular wholesale cost. And I was well aware of them, but I had some contact with them, and I forget who I spoke to there, but it wasn't him. He was gone by this time. As I said, they were now in Chatsworth, California, moving down from Northern California. I'm assuming for a lot reduced cost, because the cost of rentals and real estate, anything and anywhere in Northern California just about, is very high. I talked with them about several issues. I mean, they were generally friendly. They didn't go out of their way to try and establish a person who was now making new age type items. I had a beautiful wishing machine, and they were not interested in carrying the wishing machine. And these were the well-made ones that you'll see even on the channel today. We have one of those classic ones there. And plain and simple, they were kind of behind the times. I'm not really surprised that what they were selling, which was the same old, at the same old prices, the company slowly went down to nothing. Now they have, I'm assuming it isn't the same people or whatever. They have moved to Austin, Texas, the goofball area of Texas where all the New Agers are at. All right, man's there. Of course, the problem with him is he's Texas, and he's a Texan, so he don't really get it. But Austin, Texas, which is loaded with all these kind of weird hippies and strange people, lots of Satanists, lots of very odd and strange people there. But there's nothing wrong with that. The whole world is like that. But they apparently have moved to Austin, Texas as a company and are still operating to some degree, but it's certainly a tiny shadow of what the original company was, and what they're trying to do right now is not something that really, I mean, you can get this kind of stuff anywhere. It's all over the net, so it's kind of passe to try and have common products. You can buy all the stuff they're selling right on Amazon very easily. Why would anybody go to them particularly? And as you said, they had an attitude that they really weren't looking for unusual, different things. They were just selling the same old light and sound machines, supplements, tapes, etc. And of course, the same old super expensive radionic machine known as the SE5. And certainly, there's nothing wrong with that. But the point is that they should be selling other machines. If you're going to sell a semi-electronic radionic machine, and you're not going to have other ones. Well, this is the kind of closed-minded things that will kill you in a market that is expanding. But that had nothing to do with the founder, by the way. But we're not talking about the founder. We're talking about tools for exploration and its actual growth. And then it's moving into tools for wellness, which is now moved into its whatever phase it is right now. I don't know what kind of clientele they have or not. But as you said, there's really nothing there of great interest. Why would you go there when you can find the same products probably for a lot less on eBay, Amazon, and other places? So, but back then, of course, the original tools for exploration, well, this was all new. And, their catalogs were your typical, very well done professional catalogs, and mostly in full color with nice photographs of things that were fairly new. But they also were kind of boring. And I'm surprised he did as well as he did. But I guess because of selling supplements and tapes and other things, I mean, how many light and sound machines can you have? So there wasn't a lot of different tech there. There wasn't a lot of unusual tech. I think the writing was on the wall for that. And there wasn't really any alternative science, like things dealing with energy and Tesla and other things. So these were the things that were very hot. And these were things that were selling a lot out there. And they were really not getting into this. So, but as an organization, in terms of their original tools for exploration, everybody that I knew got their catalog. I had their catalogs. I'm not really sure if I think I did buy I did. I bought my biocircuits from Tools for Exploration, and I probably got the book there that talked about the biocircuits. I'm not sure. It's a long time ago. And these were, of course, I'm assuming one of his most popular items, and they tried to carry different other things and so forth, but it never really panned out after the big boom. But that, there was that big boom, I don't know how many people know of it, which is the late 80s into the early 2000s, where there was this great move into alternative science, and everybody was involved in it. And look, unfortunately, all these things become very shattered, and as such, there is a loss of all this kind of information. And all of these older type people that were involved in this, people like Borderland Research and everything else, well, their days are here and gone, and they really didn't put much together. I mean, they offered some nice stuff, But it's really what happened to that nice stuff? Where is the connection to it? And well, all of it's gone, and all of these resources are unavailable, or at least a lot of the resources are unavailable to people today, particularly rare books and other things that certain groups have, particularly Borderlands, that they don't republish and they don't know how to do it. And they're a very bad organization in terms of understanding business. So all of these things tend to come together in a vast area of problems right now where the people involved in this, and that goes for most of them, were not really very credible in the end. And what did they come up with? Well, I'll tell you what they came up with. They came up with absolutely nothing. They have nothing to show for their years of work, and it's really sad. And of course, here's a company that should have grown and been a outlet for all of the new tech coming out there, and it's not. And it's just a lot of that. How many, as I said, nobody is interested in light and sound machines to any great extent anymore. Biofeedback instruments, all these things which are certainly are part of a bigger picture, are not very popular anymore. Nobody is into biofeedback, even though I've heard different from people. There's games, there's expensive units that psychologists use. All of these things are out there, but it's a very tiny interest. And if you don't move into a lot of these other alternative areas. So, and he is caught into very typical belief systems, apparently. As I said, I'm not sure who's running Tools for Wellness now, but certainly it is a very unimpressive organization, to say the least. So, but it should be noted, Tools for Exploration was a big thing in its time, and part of it allowed for the growth of, in particular, radionics, because this kind of bridges into everything. So, but it's unfortunate companies like this didn't grab the radionic flag and run out there and support people, especially during the boom. And I don't think they even carried the book of Mind Machines You Can Build. I mean, here's a great area to get into, and they ignored it. And this to their own peril, and of course, that's where we're at now. But of course, that was the new people, but there certainly wasn't that emphasis. The problem with a lot of these new ager typies is that they're very closed-minded. They also don't want to deal with the peasants, the little guys. They want to deal with some PhD bull boy. And they want to support the kind of traditional New Age ism, just like the parapsychology isms that really just are stuck in a tiny little box, patting each other on the head and achieving nothing, and actually being a great disservice to the industry. So as usual in life, things change, times move on, and we seek new answers and better suppliers and those with better consciousness. Until next time.